What is your motivation for seeking awakening? And it's okay that you have one. What's meaningful in this inquiry is to be honest with yourself that you do have a motivation. And looking at that clearly without judgment, but with curiosity. So really ask yourself, what is it that I'm seeking? What is it that I'm looking for? Is there an outcome? Is there something that I'm hoping that I'm going to get? Or is there something that I'm going to not have to deal with anymore? The motivation for the awakening is also a beautiful and honest pointing to really, really look at some of the places where we could get stuck along the way. Because if there are expectations, if there are beliefs about something happening and that there's a goal in mind, there's so many thoughts and beliefs embedded into it. So let's take a prime example, which would be, I hope to be happy. Like, I want to have awakening because I want to be happy. So in that one statement, there's so many things embedded into that. So first of all, by saying, I want awakening because it'll make me happy. So now it's implying that happiness can only happen in the future. It can't happen now. And it's situation based. So I can only be happy when this happens, when awakening happens. And in that scenario, also is implied is a sense of doership, that the doer has the power to make the awakening happen in the future so that the awakening will make me happy. And now there's a sense of I there, because now I'm the one that's suffering and that I'm going to make the awakening happen in the future. So that's just the one example, happiness. Some other possible goals, I guess, would be to end suffering. And there's also the story. There could be a story as well behind the awakening journey. I've been on this path for 20 years. So that path could have started with one of the other motivations. And look and ask internally, like, what's a sticking point with that story? And all of these thoughts, they're okay to be there. It's okay to be there. It's looking at these thoughts and meeting these thoughts with curiosity. And we don't have to believe them. We don't have to believe the thought that we've been on this spiritual journey for 5, 10, 15 years. We don't have to believe that thought. It's okay that that thought is there. We don't have to grab onto that thought. Is there a sense of identity tied to that thought? Is that thought repeating itself? Because by repeating that thought, the I and that sense of identity to the spiritual seeker gets recreated and strengthened every time you think that thought. So what if you let go of that thought? What if you didn't believe that thought anymore? That you've been on this spiritual journey for so many years and you're just here right now. So what's left? What's there? If you were to set that aside. And what if you were to set aside the idea of being a spiritual seeker and not identify as a spiritual seeker, the ego and the separate sense of self? What if that was to let go? What's left there? And we can continue to look at all the different motivations, because these motivations are clues as we start getting deeper and deeper into looking at thoughts, beliefs, shadow material, shadow emotions. These hidden things will start to come up. So if somebody's looking for happiness or looking to end their suffering through the awakening process, then those are hints and those are clues that there are emotions and shadow material probably lurking in the background relating to some type of belief about happiness, whether we deserve happiness or not, or a story, an identity about how we've never been happy before. There's so many things that we can look at just by that one motivation on what we're seeking with awakening. And then those are internal motivations, right? To be happy, suffering, they're all internal. There's also external ones as well. So there's external validation, or to really take a look at if there is an ego aspect to being awakened. Oh, people will think of me as an authority or as a spiritual teacher, and I'll get praise, and really, really look at that. Some of these questions are quite uncomfortable for the ego and for the sense of self to acknowledge or even to highlight. But they're really important to take a look at, but also take a look at them with kindness and curiosity. So we're not trying to kind of beat ourselves up for having these motivations, but they are clues to where to look and where to point.